So in this day and age, the camera quality on our phones are becoming so good. And it's pretty much like we're carrying a film studio in our pockets. And if you're like me, that happens to have a phone that can record great raw footage or even footage in S-Log that allows you to do color grading, post-editing, then you're gonna wanna have something to make your phone and camera stable. And that's when we have the Hohem iSteady M7, the 3-axis AI tracking smartphone gimbal. This gimbal is fantastic for providing you stabilization. So if you're somebody that likes to do vlogging, for example, or maybe you just want to record certain items for a campaign, or maybe you're just a general content creator that wants to have your footage quite stable, this gimbal is perfect for you. So let's go ahead and dive into the packaging and again, see what is included in the box. So the first thing you see as you open up this nice sleek designed box is the carrying case. And the carrying case is very lightweight with a nice textured, rigid feel to it. And it's molded around the shape of the gimbal itself as well as its accessories. So if we go ahead and open up the case, we can see that various different items are included. One of them being the tripod. Now this tripod is really nice because you can actually attach this to the bottom of the gimbal, which is ideal for standing up the gimbal, especially if you want to take shots of yourself and stand it up so that it is hands-free. And it's very easy to install and uninstall as you need. Now alongside the actual tripod itself is the gimbal. Now the gimbal has an amazing build quality, very good design, very sturdy and lightweight at the same time. But the kicker is that this can handle a payload capacity of up to 500 grams. So if you're like me, for example, that has a phone that is really heavy, I do have an ultra type phone, so that's the heaviest type of phone you get on your flagships. Or maybe you're just, you want to add some additional components such as lights or microphones or filters on top of your setup to take your content from one level to a professional level. The gimbal can actually handle that weight. So this is very important for you content creators that want to have a gimbal that can fulfill all of the different types of elements that you want to add to enhance your footage. And included inside the carrying case as well is the accessories such as the USB-C to USB-C charger and the USB-C to USB-A charger as well. So depending on what plug socket you have that versatility on how you want to charge the gimbal. Otherwise the gimbal won't work without the juice, right? Now if we start to look at the actual gimbal itself and we look at various different parts on the side, we can see that it does have a USB-C slot which allows you to charge the gimbal, as well as the button to turn it on. The interesting thing on the side of that, you do have some ports where you can attach some external components such as additional handles or additional rigs that you actually want to put alongside this gimbal as well. Now if we switch to the other side, we'll see this wheel that allows you to turn it, and this is for the functionality of the CCT. So if you want to affect the lightings, you can use this wheel to do that, as well as changing the color. So it does have RGB functionality with this as well, but we'll go into more detail with that in just a moment. And right next to that, we do have some additional buttons as well. We have an A and B button, and the great thing about this is that it has time-lapse functionality, which again, we will show a demonstration on this video as well. And if we switch to the other side as well, we have this button here, which has multiple functionalities as well, especially with the amount of times you click it. It can change the position of the camera itself as to where it's facing. But again, we will go in more detail and show a demonstration of that too. So without taking too long with this, let's actually dive into all of the additional details as to what makes the Hohem iSteady M7 as great as it actually is. Now, normally when I'm talking about products, I like to leave the best features to last. But in this case, I'm actually going to start with the best, most notable feature. So if we look on the top of the gimbal itself, we do have what we call the AI tracker with gesture control features. And we can take this off by clicking the two buttons on the top. And if you can see over here, this is what the item actually looks like. Now this is magnetic, and this is great because, like I said, this is the most notable feature on this gimbal. This is what separates the Hohem iSteady M7 from a lot of gimbals on the market. So as you can see, the magnetic AI tracker is very easy to attach onto the gimbal and to detach as you please. But the great thing about this is that you don't actually need an app. You don't even need Bluetooth, because this AI tracker automatically connects to the gimbal itself. And even when you detach it from the gimbal, it still works. So you can switch on the AI tracker by clicking the on switch on the side of the AI tracker itself. You'll see a light turn on. That way it ensures you that it's actually turned on. And you can go ahead and reattach that directly back onto the gimbal itself, because again, like I said, it is detachable and it is magnetic. Now, when it comes to the AI tracking functionality, you have two different routes that you can go. You can track a human or you can track an object. So you can enable the tracking functionality with simple hand gestures, such as using the OK sign to actually start off the tracking. So once that's started, you can move left and right, up and down, and the gimbal will follow your every movement. So for example, if you're a streamer and you are gonna be on the move whilst you're recording inside your house, for example, this might be an ideal functionality for you. Or for example, if you're a vlogger and you have somebody following you around whilst you're outside on the go, again, this might be ideal for you because you'll always remain in the borders of the footage of your camera, because the gimbal will be following your every movement. Now, if you want to stop the functionality, you can simply do that by putting a stop sign with your hand as a gesture, and it will recognize that and stop the tracking functionality. And then we have the object tracking. So for people like myself that like to film various different products, electronic products and items, I think the object tracking is a great functionality for me personally speaking, and maybe for some of you as well. So you can do this by holding the object in front of the camera, and then you can enable this by selecting the object on the screen. At that moment, the AI tracking will be able to detect it, and then you can go ahead and move it about or move the gimbal around, and the gimbal will track its movement. Now, on the side of the gimbal, you do have that wheel that I was talking about before. So if you hold the actual button on the wheel, you will see that the light on the gimbal does turn on. So with the gimbal itself, you do have the built-in light feature, which is connected to the AI tracker itself. And you can amend this by turning the wheel on the side of the gimbal. So there are a number of functionalities in what you can do with this. You can actually increase or decrease the brightness of the light itself. On top of that as well, you can actually change this from having a warmer light or a cooler light. So if you wanted a cooler light, obviously you can just amend the wheel. And if you wanted a warmer light, you can go in the opposite direction. So another interesting fact about the light is that it has RGB functionality. So we can change the light on the AI tracker by clicking in the wheel 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and then we have a different color. And we can change the color again by using the wheel in a singular motion. In this case, I'm going up, it's changing to a more blue color. If I keep going, it's going towards green. And then if I now drag it all the way back, I'm going towards a blue tone. Then we keep going to purple and then towards a more red and pink type color as well. Now, another thing I love about this gimbal is the 1.4-inch full color detachable screen that you can currently see on here. And the great thing about this is that this actually provides real-time previews of what you're seeing whilst you're using this gimbal. And what I mean by detachable is that you can actually detach it directly from the gimbal itself, which is really nice. So this kind of acts like a remote control as well at the same time. So you do have your joystick that allows you to interact with the gimbal from a distance. So again, if you're doing various different types of content creation and you want the gimbal to move in a specific direction, but you don't want to have to actually interact with the gimbal directly, especially if you are doing content creation on your own, it's kind of hard to redirect your footage to face certain directions when you have to keep going back and forth to your camera. But with this, you can interact with it from a distance, which is great for individual content creators that don't have anybody to help them when repositioning this. And yes, this can work with your phone from a distance as well. So any system, any app, this works as well. So in this case, for example, if I hold my phone directly to me and then I get the screen itself, I can actually click the button and it takes a picture. So we can take pictures and we can do videos directly from this. So again, if I press it, takes a picture. Now, this means that selfie sticks are a thing of the past because we're now able to, pull this out and detract it as we please for our filming purposes. And the great thing about this is that I'm filming my footage right now on my phone in S-Log. So I'm able to color grade this just like the footage I'm getting directly from my camera. But also what I think is really cool is the ability to take really long hero shots. So from a distance, so for you people that really like to do this for your vlogs, this is a great addition to have. You can have really wide shots and managing to capture every single piece of detail that you need. And this is also great for people who are trying to film content. So if you're trying to do very interesting aspects or interesting dynamic shots, this again is really, really cool when it comes to filming as well, because you can really capture that extra bit of detail that you want to include in your videos. So this pole extends to 193 millimeters, and it's great for those drone type shots or those dynamic type shots that you're trying to seek when you're doing your content. So whether you are filming a short film or whether you're doing a vlog or whether you're just trying to film various different aspects of an object, this is an ideal key feature which I think is something that needs to be talked about a lot. The M7 features a next-gen orthogonal 3-axis structure. So this is great for when you want to capture your smooth, buttery footage. If you want it to be as smooth as possible, this is really ideal for this. So whether you're running, whether you're walking, or whether you're just, out and about, for that reason, you can actually keep your footage very, very smooth when using the gimbal. And there's various different settings you can set on your gimbal. So you have different modes that you can set according to how you want to use the gimbal, in terms of whether you want to work horizontally, whether you want to work on all the various different axes at the same time. You can even as well customize this according to how you want as well. So you have that flexibility when it comes to your settings. So now a worry you might have as a content creator on the go is whether your phone is going to run out of battery. Well, you can actually charge your phone by connecting it directly to the gimbal. And on top of that, for the sake of continuous usage, the gimbal lasts for up to 12 hours. So this is great for continuous shooting. Now, the next feature is something that I know I'm going to be using very often, and that's because I already do this, but with this gimbal, it's going to help me do this a lot more effortlessly. And that's the ability for time-lapse and hyperlapse footage. So the great thing about this is that on the side of the actual gimbal itself, you have two buttons. You have the A and B. So if you hold down A, you can actually set where you want to start from your starting point, and then use the joystick to now move the gimbal to another location to capture, and then hold the B button to set the B location. But on top of that, don't forget to download the Hohem Joy app as well, because you do get some additional templates and effects that can help bring your content to life. But as well as on top of that, there are video tutorials that can help you with the best practices on how to use the gimbal in order to make sure that you're capturing your footage in the best possible way. So whether you're a serious content creator or live streamer, or maybe you're just someone that's a casual user that likes to take your phone on holiday to film your family on the go, I personally will recommend the iSteady M7 by Hohem. It is a great gimbal that's very easy to use and very, very smooth. Check out the full details on Hohem's official website. I'm gonna leave the details and the link to that in the description below, so feel free to check that out. And let me know your thoughts. Is this something that you would use for some serious content creation? Is this something you might use for casual use as well? I do wanna hear what you're thinking, so don't forget to leave a comment letting me know your thoughts, as well as whatever products you want me to review on top of that as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more tech content, because I will be back soon with more content to show. So till then, I'll see you in the next video.